I really was trying to avoid doing this Brett Favre thing ahead of time. I really was. And let me tell you why. Only reason I'm doing it today is more information came out. I was trying to wait until he actually spoke about it, but apparently that's not going to happen. And so I decided that I wanted to do it now. But one of the reasons why I was trying to avoid doing it in the first place was because, well, I wasn't trying to avoid doing it altogether, but just in a general sense, I was trying to avoid doing it ahead of time because I like to get all of the information before we get into it. And so I don't like to waste time. I don't like to not get the full story and then have to come back and recant things and stuff like that. Mace taught me that. Mace said, Anton, you are going to have to be a lot more responsible as a journalist. I said, but Mace, I'm not a journalist. He says, you're a journalist, whether you want to realize it or not. I said, oh, okay. He said, you got a platform, you give people information, right? I said, yeah. He says, you're going to have to be responsible for the information that you give out. I said, okay, Mace, I'll take that. But the whole idea is I like to get as much of the story as possible. Says I got an HP because I couldn't afford an Apple. I know that's your work computer. Yep. I got the old work computer right there. I got the new work computer that just came in. Yeah, they gave me that POS. I mean, it's new, but I'm a Mac guy. But I try to avoid not getting all of the information prior to doing a story or doing a live stream. So, but I had a lot of people in my comments, and so I had to take into consider what was going on. And then I seen new information come out over the last couple of days. I said, okay, well, Anton, I guess it's time for us to go ahead and bring Brett Favre to the front of the congregation. Now, I am not familiar with everything that's going on. And so we're going to mine this out together because, as usual, I like to try to figure it out as I go along, and I like to react to it in real time. So I save my reaction and my deep dives into the research because in real time, as you figure stuff out and as I interact with the audience, which is one of the reasons why I like interacting with the audience instead of doing pre-records, I think that it will make for a better show, and we will be able to figure out the information together. So we're going to bring Brett Favre to the front of the congregation, just like we have done everybody else. I think that Ime Udoka probably did Brett Favre a favor this week by fumbling the bag. Because there's always going to be another story, which allows for you to kind of skate under the rug and then get the heat up off of you. So the one thing that I've learned in content creation and by interacting with people on a regular basis is that there's always going to be another bag fumbler. It's a fact. There's always going to be another bag fumbler. If you are going through something and life is difficult, or you are a public figure, and I know it's a lot of public figures that be hitting me up and will be watching my live streams and my restreams and stuff like that. If you are one of those people that is going through something, let me give you a little bit of advice. Just be quiet. The worst thing that you can try to do, especially if you're wrong, but the worst thing that you can try to do is defend yourself. And I always refer back to Usher, right? Usher was coming under fire for a lot of stuff, especially when he was dealing with, like, he had got his assistant pregnant and all of that. Usher was like quiet. I don't know who on his team. He must have had somebody that was under the Anton Daniels regime of training on his team that was guiding him through the whole process, because no matter what happened, he was getting accused of having herpes, and he was dealing with different side people. And then you had Chili. What, y'all remember Chili? Chili was over there going back and forth. I think that was talking junk and all of this other type. And throughout it all, Usher just kept making music. He kept making music, giving y'all the hits, skating. Now he over there in his residency serenading Anita Baker. Just be quiet. Just be quiet and you will be just fine. If Usher can make it through anything, R. Kelly almost made it through everything. If Usher can make it through anything, you certainly can. But let me just give you one more thing before we deep dive into this whole Brett Favre situation, because everybody keeps saying that they want to hear about this Brett Favre situation. But honestly, I don't think that y'all think that it's that interesting because it's not gossipy enough. I don't think that y'all think that it's that interesting because it's not gossipy enough. It ain't no holes involved. It's only money. Y'all, y'all don't even care about poor people. Come on, man. Let's. Y'all don't even care about poor people. I'm just going to be real with you. Everybody says that they care about the least fortunate of us all, but very few people actually have actions that reflect that. The thing that y'all are entertained by, listen. I had 3 different stories that I could do today. 3 different stories that I can do today. The first story, and I'm not going to go into detail because I might save it for later, but the first story involved, relationships and how it came back to the money and all of that other type of stuff. The second story was very similar, but it was, breaking down how you'll be affected as far as how the markets are going, home prices and everything. So, you got 3 different paths that you can take in the morning. And I try to be as balanced as possible and do different stories and take all 3 paths at different times. Sometimes you'll have a scandal with regard to a woman disrespecting a man or a man disrespecting a woman or finding themselves in a difficult situation relationship wise. And then we bring that back to the money, right? That was the first story. The second story was things that's going on in the market and where you should invest and all of this other type of stuff. The third thing was the Brett Favre thing. Now, I know that the Brett Favre thing is going to be the least popular path for me to take. But as a person that tries to stay as balanced as possible and try to be responsible, I said I'm going to go ahead and take the Brett Favre path, even though I know that you don't care about poor people. You don't care about poor people. I'm going to just be real. Can we keep it 100? You don't care about poor people. The most popular path is to take the path of the relationships. The second most popular path is to take the path directly to the money as far as how it is that you need to be investing and what's going on in the markets. The least popular path is to talk about anything humanitarian wise or poor people related. I would have had a better path talking about the hurricane that's about to hit Florida. You don't care about poor people. You don't. We like to pretend to. We have Thanksgiving coming up in a little over a month, in about a month and a half, which means that everybody is going to do a little bit of volunteer work. Maybe you'll give $5 to the United Way, or you'll donate some clothes over into the Salvation Army, but you don't even know where the money goes from the Salvation Army, so it don't mean nothing. But everybody is going to be pretending to care about the poor. And even if you do something from somebody, so I can go out, check this out. I can go out and I'll go and buy a new Benz, right? This is the S-Class. Or I can go and get the new Rolex. I can go and get a new crib, go get a new investment property. And you know everybody going to say, yeah, you bossing up, keep putting pressure on them, whatever. Drop the Instagram. I just recently cleaned off my Instagram. So I'm redoing my Instagram and I'm posting new stuff. All of this stuff we'll do and I'll be celebrated for, or I'll be excoriated. You know what I'm saying? Anton always bragging. But either way, it's going to be something that people love to see because either you love to hate it or you love to show love about it, right? But the other side of the conversation is if I do something for the poor and celebrate that and put that on Instagram or highlight that, then they'll say, oh, you should have did that silently. So we don't want to celebrate the things that makes the most sense as far as what we're trying to popularize to do on behalf of the other people, but we want to celebrate and highlight the things that we are doing successfully as far as stuff and trinkets. And don't get me wrong, I like stuff and trinkets just like everybody else, but I'm just saying we will absolutely destroy somebody if they don't do it the right way and highlighting any kind of charity, love, helping out the poor people and all of this other type of stuff. My passion project and the thing that I did silently because I already knew that it would paint me in a bad light, I've done silently for years is donate and give over $250 a day, over $250 a day to help people. That is a fact. That is a documented fact. But I got to be quiet about it. I did one little video where I did $250, giving out $250 for hugs. And you know what? Nobody cared. Nobody cared. If it ain't something egregious, if it ain't something gossipy, if we ain't trying to tear somebody down, if it ain't highlighting how somebody is busting it open or something like that, people, you don't care about poor people. Poor people are the ones that we like to step over every day. We'll say, listen, if you would have just asked me, you ain't have to break into my car. But then at the same time, when they ask you for $1, you be like, psh, I ain't giving you no money. You just going to use it on drugs. But then you'll give it to your favorite rapper. He going to come in, do a show, take all of the resources out of your city, go and spend it on some nonsense, or go and trick it on the hoes, BBL. And then you going to act like you did something great, or you going to justify it by saying, oh man, well, at least I like his music. The least amongst us are the ones that are the most forgotten. And now the only reason, come on, man, I'm about to break it down. Shout out to Noble Xavier, says, have you seen the Jordan Peterson interview on Piers Morgan? The only thing they highlighted him about to cry when asked about incel men. I'm gonna break it down. I got a lot of stuff that I want to go down. I got a lot of stuff in the can. The only reason that we're having any kind of conversations about Mississippi, which is a stepchild of the Republican states, Mississippi, listen, if you've ever been to Michigan, Oakland County is supposed to be like the highlight, right? Oakland County is called Metro Detroit. And what happens is you have Detroit, which is the inner city, and then you have all of these other surrounding cities around it that make up Oakland County. Detroit is Wayne County. Oakland County is Oakland County, right? And most people that are from Oakland County or Wayne State will just say, hey, I'm from Detroit. They've never been to Detroit. They only go in there for events. They go in there for the Lions game, for the Tigers game. They might go in downtown to celebrate because downtown is one of the nicest parts of the city. And then they leave and they go back to the suburbs, right? But they all will say, if you out of town and you see somebody and you say, and you like, hey, where you from? And they say, yeah, I'm from Detroit. Or they say, I'm from Metro Detroit. And be like, oh, what part? Oh, Farmington Hills, West Bloomfield, Southfield, White Lake, all of these different places, right? And so they'll say they from the city, but they're not from the city. Now, Oakland County, for the most part, is a phenomenal, prosperous, lot of money. Most of your football players that stay here, most of the basketball players, they stay in Birmingham, they stay in West Bloomfield, they stay in Oakland County, right? And I'm breaking this down for you for a reason. Now, Pontiac is also in Oakland County, but Pontiac is like the worst parts of Detroit in a large state. Pontiac is starving for resources. Ever since the Lions left, the Pontiac Silverdome, which they've blown that up and turned that into an Amazon warehouse facility, Pontiac has been reeling. I mean, Pontiac is the hood to a larger extent, right? When they say I'm from Yaktown, they saying I'm from Pontiac. Now, Pontiac is it's the redheaded stepchild of Oakland County. This is what Mississippi is, right? Because we celebrate and we highlight Texas and Arizona and Florida and all of these red states, right? And we say, look at how they're thriving and look at all the crime that's happening in Los Angeles and Chicago with the purge law. And, you know, they're really, really messing up over there in New York, and they got too many people and the taxes are too high. But then when you look over and you say, well, what about that redheaded stepchild over there that's Mississippi? And then the Republicans is like, they just put their head down. Because Mississippi to Republicans is what Pontiac is to Oakland County. Which brings us full circle to Brett Favre.